Thank you for joining us today on 344 Live, where we support sellers and job seekers. Please take a moment to support the job search of Julie McVeigh. She's a single parent committed to showing her kid that they can overcome anything, help others even when struggling, and positively change her community. And with that, I want to say welcome to Julie, who I have here because she's an OG in my world, right? And I said that when I posted this show episode today, the 30th episode of the 344 Live. And man, I'm so excited to have you here, Julie. It's so great. And I love that, you'll get a little chance to warm up right before we kind of get going. And I'm really excited that it appears that we're actually live, because the last time that I ran to my business page, so we're actually hosting this out of the Hotness Unleasher Studios business page today.
Awesome.
Yes. And I actually got that idea from you. You want to, because SaaSy Sales Moms was doing it from your business page. And I was like, I see something here. And I saw that it gave more flexibility. So credit goes to you for that. And man, like, your story is so awesome. And I also want to say, like, man, we've got Nadine, we got Mira here, we got Amber, we got Cindy, we got Rachel, we got Kristen. Okay, we got a crowd. All right. And I want to shout before we get started, because Julie, you are a proud card carrying SDR, BDR, you're in that role. And I got to say that Mira Mehdi is here from Drift in the audience right now. And I want to call her out as having done a fantastic job of cold calling me today. And when she calls, and we can go over a little bit. I'm not going to shut us off before, because I'm going to take a little stage for a second. So she calls, and I'm literally like eating lunch in the middle, like fork to mouth.
God bless you for answering, Trevor.
I didn't know. It was a local area code. I should know better. But okay. So I answered the call. And my wife is like standing over my shoulder with like some serious, like she's got a serious question on her mind. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, okay. So Mira calls, and she's like, "Okay, if I could just get 30 seconds." But her tone was so good. It wasn't desperate. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't like, I'm just gonna pitch whatever. I just want to talk, right? So we did a little bit. And finally, I escaped the call. I don't remember how I did, but it was real. It was real. It was like, hey, just, I don't know. I'm too, and I come into my office, and she's got this beautiful in-mail. And I'm like,
and you read your in-mail too?
I did. I read it. Well, it was from her. It was Drift. It was like all at the same time. And it was like, I just sat down and like, bam. And then she's like talking about Trader Joe's and stuff. And normally, like, I wouldn't do that. But the reality was that she got through in a thoughtful, creative way. And she made references to how, like, we had met at this, I don't know if I met her, but she met us, she met our team or whatever at this trade show, and like all this stuff that was totally contextual, totally right on. And so we got into it, right? And then I was able to share a little bit of this and that. Oh, dogs. I love dogs.
Sorry.
No. My dogs are probably going to start.
I'll have to let him out. Let me let him out, and then he's okay. Done. Here, go out there and bark. When people come home, he has to go.
I love it. Okay, so I have two dogs, and one of them likes to bark at the mailman, whenever they come.
But it's like, why are you barking at my husband or my son? Like, we know them. They're supposed to come home. We're glad about it.
Indeed. I don't chastise them. I'm like, good job, good dog, right? And I've totally, look at that.
But now he's all agitated, so we'll let him. We're going to put him out here to go take care of business.
There you go.
Stop bothering Mama. Yeah.
I love it. All right. So here's this long story I'm telling.
But anyway,
in the end, I appreciate the work, Julie, that you do. Okay. And I had Rachel Pierce here as my first SDR, right? And now you're here. And I think that this work that you're doing is really hard. We talk about that, right?
Yeah.
How do you get that tone? How do you break through? How do you make a connection? And so with that, I want to introduce you, Julie Smith Nestor, as a friend, right? As somebody who I've known for several months now, and whose story I follow, if not every moment, at least, here and there. And I see your funny TikToks, and I know about your husband and your kids, and it's fun, right? It is interesting and engaging to follow your story. And so with that, let's talk about what you do. Let's talk about how you make a living, right? Because that's why we're here. And we're here to kind of explore that part of it, because we don't always get to dig in as deep as we want on that. So I'm going to create this space to do that. All right. So let's talk about Flosum, right? I have the correct pronunciation.
Very good. Yeah.
The first time I did that, I didn't do it right. You didn't correct me, but
I didn't either. I called it Flossum forever because I was like, oh, that's Flossum. It's awesome.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Awesome. Flosum, awesome.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. So you work for these guys, and what do they like? Who do they cater to? Who's the customer?
Well, the Flosum we specifically cater to Salesforce DevOps teams. Flosum is a Salesforce native product. So it is a DevOps release management tool that's native to Flosum. So it's the fastest, most secure Salesforce development tool, but it's only for Salesforce and Viva systems, which is a Salesforce Right Now platform product. But what it basically does is it enables Salesforce DevOps teams to have releases that are effective and efficient without tons of things breaking and blowing up and the business unit having downtime.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Yeah, because we have an audience I want to speak to a little bit, and they may not know what you mean by Salesforce DevOps. So we know that Salesforce is a gigantic CRM. Okay, let's assume that we know that it basically functions to manage this sales motion, right? And lots of sort of bells and whistles. But you can customize it, right? You can do stuff with it. When
we're all salespeople, we work on CRMs, and what happens is, think about this: like sometimes when you book, let's say you book a meeting, and you have to enter in an opportunity. There's all these fields that you have to enter in that are data that we want as a company to store. And that entire field, thing, that the whole sheet is an actual, they had to build that. It's a customized app that they added to Salesforce. And there's a team that does that, and they write code. Yeah. And they write the code on the Salesforce, and then they test it in UAT, like a test environment. And then they push, once they think they got it right, they push that code out to the real live environment. And then the business units, the salespeople use it. Okay. But what happens is if you don't have a really good process and you're not communicating well, then codes can be overwritten. There's lots of things that could happen. And when you roll it out to the business unit, things start to fail. So for an example, they get a lead in, they enter in the lead, and they get an error message. Lead didn't get entered.
Don't want that.
We don't want that. I mean,
because I can't even deal with that, right?
What? Or just little things like that. Maybe they did something where you put someone's phone number in and it was built wrong, and it doesn't come in formatted correctly. Yeah. Maybe you want to integrate with Sales Navigator. So you got to build some integrations to import data to and from Salesforce to Sales Navigator. And if you don't write that code right, then it's not gonna do it the way you want it to, right?
So you've got coders in there, and they're developing the customization of Salesforce, doing that to make it work for the individual business, right? And I can relate to this because literally I do that too. Like I have a product I add products, I do all this customization. I mean, we are a customized Salesforce shop, Infused Media, my employer.
Okay.
And I had the pleasure of putting in an opportunity today, right? And seeing it through. So, okay. All right. So we got it. So now there are these people, and you're referring to them as sort of as DevOps people. All right. So, okay, great. Now
I refer to them like that, Trevor, because as an SDR, what's really, really important is for us to figure out who is our ICP, right? Who's our ideal client, right?
Totally. Yep.
And their profile, kind of what's that person look like? And what has been challenging with this job is I do call into enterprise companies, big, large companies. I'm in health and life sciences, so I call pharmaceutical companies and hospitals and things like that. Yeah. And it's very hard to figure out who is the decision maker, who's the user, and who who do I have to, it's a buying committee, right? And so you have to really dive in there. Well, the problem is not everybody says that they're a Salesforce architect or that they're a Salesforce developer or they're a Salesforce engineer. They say they're a developer, they're an architect, they're an engineer. So see what I mean? And so that's been the challenge, to really dial in and find the right person. And then when you talk to the engineers, they're like, yeah, you know what? I do fine. I use change sets and I'm doing a good job. So please don't tell people that I'm not. You know what I mean? Like there's that kind of feeling, right? Like I'm calling their baby ugly.
Yeah.
And then you have the leaders who are like, are you telling me I don't know what's going on with my DevOps process? Like, so it's really important to understand, like, this is it's a hard thing to manage because you've got the needs of the business units and those are valid. And sometimes I can communicate with them to uncover problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So essentially then, so what does Flowsome do? Like then the offer is what to these people? They're developing stuff.
Flowsome is a CI/CD tool, and a CI/CD tool, it's a, geez, now I've been saying it and I
hate it when that happens. It's okay. No sweat.
Yeah, but it's a CI/CD too. It's for their development workflow. Okay. You can either use a CI/CD tool like Flowsome or Capado or something like that, or you could use change sets, which is a very manual process, and you don't have any automation. And what Flowsome brings is automation and security. We are a Salesforce native platform, and so what that means is that none of your coding, nothing ever leaves Salesforce. Everything that you're developing is in the Salesforce platform, and so it definitely is a lot safer. But we also have a data backup and recovery component of Flowsome. We have the trust center component of Flowsome, and then the release management component, which is the robust tool that we have, right?
All right. So basically, Flowsome sits in there and helps the developer to make their code work, make it so they can test it. It's quality assured, all that good stuff. So it actually hits the team, and it's not full of bugs. So that the sales rep, when it's 4 p.m. Pacific time, and everybody else and the entire company is gone, and they enter in the opportunity and it errors out, and the customer's saying, "Where the hell's my contract?" Money still happens, right? It's still going to work, right? So Nadine brings up a really good question among many really good questions, but I'm seeing this one because, and I was thinking the same thing, right? Why aren't people saying they're a Salesforce engineer? And because I have seen Salesforce engineers and their compensation is really stinking awesome.
Oh yeah, they do well.
So why wouldn't you say you're a Salesforce engineer if you were that, instead of I'm just a, whatever? Why wouldn't you?
Well, they do say, okay, so there's two things about this ICP. One, they're not big LinkedIn users.
Okay.
So you can't always uncover a lot of stuff. But the thing is that some companies will have Salesforce developer in their title and some of them won't. But the actual developer, they'll have in their LinkedIn profile is, I do AWS, I do this, I do Flow. So you know what I mean? Like
so you have to detect it. Yeah.
They do. And I think the reason why they do that is because, yes, they make a ton of money as a Salesforce developer, but if they have other skills, they want to also be able to utilize those skills or something. I don't know. That's just my guess.
That makes total sense. All right. So you mentioned a couple of competitors, right? Or at least Capado, right? And then you had the change sets. Is that what you called it?
That's not a competitor. That's just the manual process.
It's a manual process. Okay. So let's talk about that competitor. How is Flowsome better differentiated meaningfully from that?
I mean, the biggest thing is the fact that we are native to Salesforce, and we are a native Salesforce platform. Again, it's a big deal, especially in the customers that I talk to, because of the very secure information. They need to keep all their data extremely secure, and so not leaving the Salesforce platform is very important. So being native to the Salesforce platform is really important. We also have a data backup and recovery component to our platform, and that's not something a lot of people know about, but it's really awesome because a lot of people think that in Salesforce, that they back up your data, and they do to some extent back up your data, But if you really want to get it back where you can quickly implement it and get everything back and running again, you have to pay a pretty good amount of money. And then what they give you is not easy. It's like a data dump. Do you see what I'm saying? So our data backup and recovery is a much more robust, and it's a lot more, plug and play. Like you have something happens, you got to back it up and recover it. You can probably get that done in half the time that you would if you didn't have something like that.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. So those are differentiating factors. So it seems like though, like, okay, if I'm a serious Salesforce developer, why wouldn't I do this? Why wouldn't I already know? Like, why wouldn't I be thinking this way? Why would it be hard?
It's not hard. It's not that it's hard. It's that it's new. So CI/CD tools are newer. Didn't used to have them. So Capado, AutoRabbit, GearSet, Flowsome, we're coming up on the market. Capado has done an incredible job with funding and getting a lot of visibility from their funding and things like that. We are self-funded. We are
bootstrap. Love bootstrap. Yes.
Correct. And our CEO built this product. I mean, he did it. You know what I mean? Like this is his thing and he did it. So it's harder when you don't have the visibility of those big investment rounds and things like that.
Totally.
But that's the only reason. That's what they do really well, is they are doing a really good job of brand recognition and keeping people kind of right on top of in front of mind.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting. Like you bring this up because, and we are going to go over, sorry gang, it's going to happen. So I had Jason Witt from Metadata on this show, I don't know, less than a month ago. And it was kind of he's in a space, kind of what you're talking about. It's like they're funded and they got all this backing and all that. So that's different, but it's still new, right? And they still have to battle this, like, is there a problem? Like, is there even a problem that we're solving? That is it just, or is it just cool? Right. And so there's like, when you create this market, that's kind of hard. It takes time. It takes time to get over that. And heck, if you can sort of fly if you can fly in the slipstream or whatever the word, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can,
the wind jet stream or whatever.
You get behind the semi truck, let them break it open and then be better, right? Be better and be more approachable, be nicer, be kinder, be more professional. I love it. Why not do that and bootstrap it and own the whole company? Heck.
Yeah. It's awesome. And right now, one of the things that's really great about this is that, Girish, our CEO, really, he cares about these developers and architects and engineers. Like he feels their pain because he knows their pain, right? Yeah. So he developed this tool to take the pain away. So my job and all the other BDRs and AEs is to explain why, hey, we need to kind of learn about this because you don't have to go through that pain. But you wouldn't believe the number of people who are like, you know what? They'll tell us, when we have a release, sometimes I'll spend all day, all night on Saturday fixing overwrites, bug fixes, all the things, right? Yeah. They know that's because of the manual nature of doing change sets, but they're just not comfortable changing yet because they know it. They've learned it. You know what I mean? And so one thing that we're doing at Flowsome that we're really trying to do is that there's something called the DORA metrics. And the DORA metrics are a way for DevOps teams, all DevOps teams, to measure their effectiveness and their efficiency of their release management process. But it's very hard. DORA releases like a whole DevOps report and a whole process. And it's very hard to go in there and go into the DORA report and figure out what are your metrics. So what Flowsome did is we did all the heavy lifting. They built this cool algorithm and they figured out a way where we can meet with our companies and we can help them get their DORA metrics using our algorithm. And then they can say, okay, DORA metrics measures 4 things. It measures deployment frequency. So how frequently are you able to deploy, your code and that type of thing? How successfully are you able to release new features? And then it also measures like your lead time for change. How much time does it take you guys to prepare before you can get to production? And then it measures your change rate failures. So
yeah.
all the things. So it's like, so we're hoping that we can help, like we can work together with these teams to uncover all the opportunities they have, and then they can decide, do I need a CI/CD tool or not? But
okay.
I think they will. Once they see their score, they'll be like, oh geez, we need that.
Awesome. All right. So I'll make sure to introduce you to my people, because we're doing custom stuff all the time.
Oh yeah. We'll get you.
I'll make that. I don't know if we qualify for your, enterprise, but somebody in your organization, right? I'll make sure that happens. Here's the thing though. So Julie, you've been working for these guys for what, 6-7 months, something like that?
No, actually 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, this is my 6th month right now, March.
Your ability to communicate deeply technical information and translate it to somebody who is not in your market, who is not a developer, who doesn't really know what the hell you're talking about, and make it so that I kind of get it a little, is awesome.
No, thank you.
Yeah, rest in that. Know that if you've, really just truly only in a few months, you're really able to take this kind of language on and translate it in a way and ask some very specific questions from me that are moving, sort of trying to get to an outcome of like, should I buy this thing? Does it make sense? Should I take the time to introduce you to people who are actually doing it? Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do that. Why wouldn't I? Because at the end of the day, I don't want my sales force to break when I need it to work. Right. And
but you also want to have flexibility, Trevor. You want to have the ability to modify it and make it all.
I want it to be good. Right. And
the whole point of
it is the whole point. And so, we can, got a couple of things that are on my mind in that regard. So with that, we are over time. I do want, your story is so good. So
thank you.
It is. And I want to just, when we talk about like what your time frame here with Flowsome has been, that there's so many of us here that are in the comments right now who were with you when that first SDR job went to hell in a handbasket, right?
Yeah.
And how absolutely wretched that situation was.
Horrible.
And just and the personal turmoil that you and your husband are going through, and just man, and just to see you like I perceive how much you're thriving and how you're taking this information in. And like I said, like I wasn't joking. Like you blow my mind every time. Like, golly, it's killing it.
Well, Trevor, I do have to shout out my CRO, Mark Cope. Like literally, Mark has I was struggling at first. I told you that I was struggling. It was a lot. Like you said, it was a lot to learn and a lot to absorb. And I was struggling. And Mark has done such an awesome job of helping me find my, the process and the way that I was going to go about, talking to and communicating with prospects and organizing my outreach so that I could do it in a way that is more comfortable for me. Yeah. And that's why I feel so happy. I mean, Mark is just an absolutely incredible CRO. I'm just kind of blown away by how awesome. I mean, I'm just a BDR.
Yeah. And I mean, new kid on the block.
How cool is that?
That is totally awesome. Totally awesome. Way to go. I love that.
Did you know it's SDR BDR Appreciation Week?
No, but here we are. I'm appreciating you, and I'm appreciating Mira and Rachel Pierce and all the rest of the SDRs.
The one that called you today.
Yeah, Mira, she's in here. She left us a comment here a little bit ago. So it's all good. It's all good. So
someone asked what my TikTok handle was. We do have a SaaSy Sales Moms TikTok, and then mine is a smiling mom.
Okay. A smiling mom. We got that. So somebody will throw that. We'll find it and throw it in the comments. All right. So with that, now I didn't really give you very good warning because you and I are both a couple of fly by the seat of our pantsers, right? So we are oil and oil. Yesterday, Jen Berger, I was so funny. We're oil and vinegar. She was totally planned. Oh yeah. And so that I learned a lot from her, and I was inspired by her approach, and I can see ways that I can improve how I live my life, basically. But that said, I didn't give you warning that I need a tip of the day.
A tip of the day. Okay.
Yes.
So
hang on. I'm gonna say, are you ready? And then you're gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say, let's go. And those are my bookends so that I can clip this off easily. Okay. Julie, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go.
All right. My tip of the day is to always remember, no matter what anybody else says or no matter what you think at that moment, you are absolutely enough. You are absolutely enough. So stop being so hard on yourself and just be grateful for yourself because you're doing a great job. You're enough.
Awesome. We're going to take that to the bank. And Julie, I want to say thank you so much for coming out and supporting 344 Live and supporting SDR, BDR Appreciation Week, because by golly, that is a hard job, man. And you were in there and you're doing the work, and it's coming through, and the investments that you're making really do show. So
thank you. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Absolutely. All right. With that, I'm going to do my count up timer. Don't run away quite yet. And then with everybody else, I'm going to say goodbye. Much love to the commenters. You are the best. And with that, we'll say signing off.